Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Greg Plays Games. Today I'm going to review Sonic Superstars, which I played on the PlayStation 5 but can be found on all platforms. This game was released back in October of 2023, I want to say right before Mario Superstars, Mario Wonder, Super Mario Wonder, which came out on Nintendo Switch, and I think ultimately really hurt Sonic Superstars, but I'll go into that a little bit later. So just to start off, I'm going to just kind of talk about the things that I did like about the game, because there is not that much. The thing that really drew me into the game in the first place was just the art style. I thought it was interesting and very different from the old Sonic art styles, as well as just like the 3D Sonic art style has a very distinct kind of vibe to it, and this Sonic Superstars just really kind of seemed like an interesting step in the right direction for the Sonic team, because I'm really not a huge fan of a lot of their games. I've not really ever beat a 2D Sonic all the way through. I mean, growing up I had played 3D Sonic games and really enjoyed those as a kid, but as I got older just recognized they just really weren't that good of games. But I've tried to give them a shot again. You know, I picked up Sonic Frontiers, and ultimately it just wasn't really my thing. I was kind of hoping Sonic Superstars would kind of be the shoe-in that would make me a fan of the games again, and truthfully, it's just not the case. I think I just really didn't have a lot of fun with this game. I don't think it's a really bad game, but it is not a great game. I think there's a lot that's holding it back. But ultimately, I really liked the art style. I think that the franchise has strong characters. I just don't think these games do them any semblance of justice, and it's really a shame. And, you know, I've seen a lot of reviews saying this is a good Sonic game. I don't really have a great reference point for it, other than other games I've played that aren't Sonic, and, you know, like, comparing it to any Metroid game, I mean, comparing it directly to Mario Wonder, like, this game just doesn't even, it never stood a chance, in my opinion. But so some of the things I did find very frustrating about the game, and there's a lot of them. I think the first thing that sticks out in a lot of other reviews I've seen is the boss battles. They're very long, they're arduous, they are just not fun, and they are challenging, but it's more so a frustration, not a challenge. Like Dark Souls, you play and you're sweating, you're getting frustrated, but it's fun and it's rewarding to beat the boss. This game is that, but without the reward. Like, you beat the boss and it doesn't feel good. Like, you're not like, oh man, that feels like an accomplishment. You're just like, this game sucks, I fucking hate it. That was kind of how I felt throughout the entire game. I just was wanting to get the platinum trophy just because I bought the game. I was like, let me get the platinum trophy, which really I think is a big mistake on my part. I think getting the platinum trophy really kind of, you know, it exposes a lot of games when you start to do that, which is a good thing and a bad thing. I think, you know, it prevents me from enjoying the game in the way that I think other people did, but I think it also is a good representation of the actual quality of effort put into a game. That's a lot of rambling about me just not liking the game, but let me get more specific. So the bosses, I mentioned those. The checkpoints are ruthless, especially the later boss. When you start to go into the platinum trophies and you have to beat like Trip's story, like the bosses just get really ridiculous and the checkpoints suck, and I don't know, there just aren't very many boss battles that stuck out as fun to play. Like, I don't think any of them were. I mean, the final boss that you fight as Trip in Trip's story is easily one of the most infuriating boss battles I've ever had. I've never spent so much time trying to beat one single boss. I think it literally took me 6 hours of real life time over, you know, the course of 2 weeks to finally beat it. It took forever. It took me so many tries. And it wasn't fun. Like, it wasn't fun. That was the thing that's bad about it. I think ultimately the actual levels are kind of forgettable too. Like, it just kind of feels like standard video game levels. Like, you get a sand level, you get an ice level, you get a Green Hill Zone version, you know, you get a space-themed one. There's just nothing about the levels that are interesting from a design standpoint or, like, artwork standpoint that I think are, you know, the reasons I thought I was going to have fun with the game just didn't really come through. I thought it was going to be a visually interesting, fun Sonic game, and me personally didn't find that. So I did touch on Trip's story a little bit, which is basically the hard mode of the game. So once you play through the whole story as any of the characters or a combination of them, you unlock Trip, and you can play through all of the story again as this new character. And the levels are more difficult, the bosses are more challenging, and it extends the life of the game, but it just kind of is a slog. Like, once you find out you got to play through the whole game again, you're like, damn, I gotta beat this again, and it's harder. Like, this sucks. So I wasn't really a huge fan of Trip's story. I also wasn't really just a huge fan of that character design, so I had to play through the entire story again, locked as this one character that I wasn't even really a huge fan of in the first place. And I want to say it's a brand new character too, so there's no even kind of previous connection to it. And within each level, there's also bonus levels, and it's the way the game does it is a little confusing, especially not really coming from having a lot of Sonic experience, especially in the 2D worlds. Like, sometimes a bonus level will be triggered and you're doing this kind of swinging mini game where you're swinging around trying to catch bonus rings or a Chaos Emerald, and then other times you'll just randomly get a level that's kind of this perpetually rotating map, and then you kind of bounce around and collect the coins. I actually found that mini game to be pretty fun, even though it kind of is a pretty stark change of pace from the rest of the game. I found those levels to be pretty engaging and surprisingly fun for how different they are from the rest of the game. I don't know if other Sonic games have that kind of game mode, but I ended up in order to get the Platinum Trophy, you end up having to play those levels a lot, and I ended up being pleasantly surprised at the challenge and how fun they actually ended up being, which is kind of surprising given the context of which they take place. I want to say you have to collect 50 coins to unlock those levels, and then you go to a checkpoint. It's like very strange. It seems like something that you would learn from playing the old games, but because I had never played, I just didn't know. And then, as you play the game, you kind of figure it out. And I'm watching Platinum Trophy videos, so I'm learning stuff about the game too. So I mean, I do think that there is a lot of replayability in this game. It's just not fun. It's just not fun replayability. I think there is one last kind of minor gripe I have with the game, and then I do want to talk about this game in comparison to Mario Wonder, because that was its direct competitor. But I will say one thing that is really frustrating to me about Sonic games that I just don't really understand. I understand that they're momentum-based platforming, exploration, adventure style games. My issue is that this is supposed to be one of the fastest fuckers out there, and he can't run up a hill. Like, that's crazy to me. It's just very annoying. Like, I don't know. It's just me beefing with the game. The fact that Sonic the Hedgehog, the fastest creature on the planet, can't run up a hill without getting a bit of a running start just seems a bit annoying. Seems a bit stupid. Not a fan of that. I understand that's kind of how all the games have been. It's very frustrating, though. So I just kind of want to wrap up with comparing this game to Mario Wonder, which I did not review on the channel, but I did give my thoughts on and just kind of mention that it's just not really my cup of tea. But when I'm comparing Mario Wonder to Sonic Superstars, it is fucking night and day. Like, Mario Wonder might be my game of the year if I was comparing it to Sonic Superstars, because it's just the level of tender love and care put into Mario Wonder versus Sonic Superstars is just very different. I don't really even know specific things to point to that show that there's more attention to detail, but you can just kind of feel it when you play the game. Like, running around as Mario to me feels more fluid and fast and responsive than playing as Sonic, which is so stupid to me that Sonic can't get that fucking right. The one thing that the game is supposed to be fast, fun, fluid, it just doesn't feel that way to me in the same way that Mario Wonder does, and that's not what Mario is about. It's running and jumping, and Sonic is about going fast, and it feels like Mario does a better job of that than Sonic. And I think that this particular set of games highlights that very, very clearly. So overall, I don't remember what I gave the official Sonic score. Okay, so my official score for Sonic Superstars, and this is kind of taking into consideration going after the Platinum Trophy, so keep that in mind. So you might have a little more fun with the game if you choose not to do that. I give it a 5.6. that is my worst rated game of the year by far. To be honest, typically just don't really waste my time playing games that suck. So I would never probably have a game rated that low on any of my like end of the year lists or anything, because I just wouldn't waste my time playing them. But I bought this game physically, and I really wanted to thug out the platinum trophy for this one just to say I did it. And I wish I didn't, honestly. I wish that I had spent my time doing literally anything other than playing this game. I think 5.6 is generous. I think I was trying to be polite to the game. I think when I just rate it based on purely fun factor, it'd be different. So I mean, I don't know what even the fuck point was. The 5.6, I'd probably give it like a 2. I wouldn't recommend this game. I would recommend spending $30 on Sonic Mania or in something else or any other game. I would just pass this game up, guys. That's my review. Peace out.